Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, global markets reporter at Nasdaq. Joining me for this segment, we have Nick James, founder of Web3 Texas, to talk about teaching the fundamentals of Web3 to Texas and beyond. Nick, it's great to see you again. Welcome to Trade Talks.
Thank you for having me on, Jill.
You got it. And tell us more about Web3 Texas.
Web3 Texas is a nonprofit, and we are focused on the fundamental education of Web3 concepts and technologies.
What's the genesis behind Web3?
There's three reasons why we founded Web3 Texas. Number one, we go back to when we were in Web 1 and going into Web 2. We didn't really understand all the risks that were ahead of us. And I think if we had the opportunity to educate a large mass population, we would have done so, to educate things on like, bad password habits, spotting phishing emails and other scams. The second reason being, I've been in cybersecurity for 15 years now, and I've seen a lot of bad things happen to good people. And I think that it's time to make a change. And thirdly, I'm worried about the future, the digital future we're handing off to our kids. So I think it's time to make a change through education.
And holistically, what is the mission for Web3 Texas?
The Web3 Texas mission is to make Web3 accessible to all through simplified, captivating, and adaptive learning experiences on all mediums.
And in the intermediate term, even a little bit more near term, what are the goals?
Our goals immediately are to complete our filings for our nonprofit or 501c3, and then start to seek funding from large enterprises and other sort of donors who are interested in making a social impact through Web3 Texas.
And longer term?
Long term is to continue to build our blueprint here in Texas so we can repeat this blueprint similar to a franchise across the world and give other people opportunity to build physical communities where people can come talk and learn about Web3. And beyond that is to also build out a Web2 platform similar to a learning academy like Udemy. However, with a lot of Web3 elements and things like Web3 simulators where people can go and interact with Web3 technologies in a safe environment where they aren't at harm's way.
And Nick, to wrap up here, when we think about purpose, when we think about education, when we think about technology accessibility for all, when we think about skilling the workforce, what's your outlook with Web3?
I think it's all in our mission. It's a great question, Jill. If we unpack adaptive, that's within our mission statement, we actually cover 4 learner types, the 4 being kinesthetic, textual, auditory, and visual. And we're also working with partners in the nonprofit industry to cover off disability groups. So people who are deaf, people who are blind, and people who are also neurodiverse.
It looks like a really promising future, that's for sure, Nick. Thank you for joining us on Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, global markets reporter at Nasdaq.
Thank you, Jill.